Hello and welcome to New Awakening Theology. In this video, we will be discussing Christ's commandment, be a servant. In Matthew 20:25 through 28, we read, Jesus called them together and said, You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be your slave, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons so you won't miss any of my future videos. James and John's mother came to Jesus and asked that her two sons might be granted places of favor in his kingdom, one seated at his right hand and one at his left. Jesus told her that giving positions of honor in the kingdom was not his decision to make, but the decision of the Father, who will make those appointments. When the other 10 disciples heard about James and John's mother's request, they were upset. They're probably sorry that they had not thought of it first. Jesus, aware of the friction among the disciples over this issue, called them together and reminded them of some important principles. While some rulers lorded over their people, the disciples were not to do so. Greatness in the Lord's kingdom does not come from power, but through service. Their goal was to be serving, not ruling. Those given the highest places in the kingdom will be those who serve and are humble. Jesus himself is the ultimate example of this principle. His status as the Son of Man gave him the right to be served. In Daniel 7:14, Daniel writes, And to him was given dominion and glory, and a kingdom that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom one that shall not be destroyed. Jesus is our model for service to others. A godly servant loves in order to become loving servants. We must be nourished by the love of God. A servant who has experienced the love of God cannot contain this love as it is given in abundance. A godly servant commits. In 1 Corinthians 15:58, we read, Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Commitment is without a doubt the hardest quality to uphold. We are instructed to be firmly loyal, unshakable, and always increasing in the service for the sake of our Lord. St. Paul exemplified these attributes and displayed great commitment in his own life. And God graced him with success and strength in his ministry. A godly servant has faith in God. Sometimes we forget the power of whom we serve. We think we are toiling alone without any divine intervention. But this is far from the truth. We must recognize that all of the fruits of the service are not our own. We're simply sowers of the seed. It is God who provides the miracle of life to transform the lifeless seed into a fruit-bearing tree. A godly servant is humble. Humility is simply a life spent in the presence of God, in which man realizes his true worth. The Desert Fathers taught that much about humility, labeling it as the first among all virtues. Our Lord himself was the perfect model of humility, humbling himself for the sake of our salvation. A godly servant must therefore imitate the Lord in his humility. This can be achieved by placing the needs of others before our own, turning a blind eye to the failings of others, and by directing all the praise of men toward God, to whom all glory is due. In the next video, we'll talk about Christ's commandment, be a house of prayer. Thanks, and have a great day.